Hello everyone, my name is Deepak Meena. I have secured All India rank 283 in Civil Services Examination 2023. Now let's talk about how my answer writing or my preparation for mains was. Let's start with paper wise. For essay paper, my approach was that let's say in recent times we have seen that topics for essay papers are more on the philosophical side. So approach for attempting those philosophical essays need to be slightly different from those used to be those GS1 essays which used to be asked earlier. So for philosophical essays, my approach was first, if there is any topic, I would just frame questions out of that topic. For example, let's say this year the essay topic was thinking is like a game. It only starts when there is opposite team. So in this we can frame questions like why it only starts when there is opposite team. Does it even start if there is no opposite team? What is the need for thinking? What do you mean by thinking? How can this competitiveness when there is opposite team can change the society? All these questions need to be asked of this philosophical essays. You can frame all these questions. This I used to do in brainstorming session, which I generally used to take 20 to 25 minutes of essay for doing this brainstorming, and in next 1 hour or so I used to write the essay. In brainstorming I used to frame these questions. After that I used to collect points for my arguments for each of these questions, which argument I will be giving in support or in against of these all of these questions. And I also used to think of examples, and personally I felt that for examples you need to have diverse examples. I used to think, for example, thinking is like a game. It only starts when there is opposite team. You can take examples for this supporting this argument from political side, you can take economic side, you can take environmental side, you can take social aspect, you can take historical examples, and you will find all example from all sort of spheres, and you need to collect them, and I used to write them in rough pages. After that, after I have collected the arguments which I will giving, after the examples which I have collected from different spheres, now after that I used to start writing essay. Starting the essay with quotes does not work for me. I usually start with anecdote, and any of the stories which I have collected from political, economical, supporting that philosophical thing, I used to start with that story. I started with the story. After that, I tried to build on those questions which I have made from. I spent some time on how to ask those questions in the right frame of mind in those essays. So how to answer them so that they are in coherent manner. Essay syllabus also says that you need to present your thoughts in coherent manner. So initially there would be questions like, what do you mean by thinking? Why? How does it start? How does it only start when there is the opposite team? Answer to that question. Can it even start when there is no opposite team? In those you will be writing your argument. Along with that you will be supporting your argument with examples, and these examples need to be from different spheres, not only from particular sphere. That will be very monotonous. So also at the last you need to also put an emphasis on if a philosophical topic is given to you, you need to put some focus where that topic will not hold argument against it. For example, in that sometimes thinking may also start when there is no opposite team. It may start independently on its own. You need to give arguments for that when it may start, and you need to also give examples to support that thinking that it will start out of its own independently even when there is no opposite team in some cases, and some cases are like that. So you need to focus also on that. At the last there would be conclusion, way forward. I would say that how to promote that thinking, how it will help us as a society, us as a nation, that need to be incorporated way forward. How it can help in our everyday lives, that need to be incorporated in way forward. And at the end, the anecdote which you started, end with that same anecdote, connect with that story from the initial ones, so that it gives a feeling of that the essay have been completed. if I earlier used to write only way forward and not connect with the anecdote I started initially writing the essay with, and I got lot of feedback that I need to connect with the anecdote, and I incorporated, and I personally even read my own essays, and it felt like there was a sense of completion if I connected with the same anecdote which I started with. Also for essays you need to collect those examples. For example, you study those examples in GS 1, 2, 3, 4, and that won't be very unique. Everybody would be writing those examples. So you need to collect examples which are more unique. You can collect them from internet, you can collect them from even toppers copy. I personally believe that they are very helpful in this regard. Don't need to just look at the topper copies from the sense that how you are writing your answer or how they might be beneficial for you. You also need to look from the topper copies from the eyes that you need to extract content from these topper copies, not only just look at them and compare your writing style with them. You need to extract content because topper copies are very rich in content wise. You can extract lot of imaginative examples, lot of examples which are not very unique and which you can incorporate in your essays. So topper copies personally helped me. Smruti ma'am last year, her essay notebooks are very good, and I personally read her lot of essay notebooks, and I personally find all those notebooks very helpful in my essay preparation. For GS 1 to 3, I would say firstly there need to be you need to thorough with your basics. You need notes of the basic content, and these notes need to be organized based on what the syllabus is. You need to learn the syllabus of GS 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the first thing that you need to memorize. You should have the syllabus of GS 1, 2, 3, 4 on your table, and you need to study each and everything for the mains based on that syllabus only. If I am studying something that where in the syllabus it will be helpful for me. From I am studying something from which part of the syllabus this be asked, so I will be writing whatever I am studying. So syllabus is very important. Also PYQs are very important for GS 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to attempt PYQs. If you can personally write PYQs, that will be very helpful, but I could not get time for writing all the PYQs in my first and second attempt. But in the compared to first attempt, in the second attempt what I did was I used to brainstorm a lot. For example, I opened PYQ and think what would I be writing if this question came into exam. For 10 markers I used to brainstorm, for example 10-12 points. That you may not be able to write all those points in your exam, but I used to brainstorm for if I really need to write 10-12 points for each of the 10 marker questions, what points would those be. And that really broadened my mind understanding, because 10-12 points cannot come from the same topic. For example, from environment, if you are writing something about environment, 10-12 points might not come only from environment. You need to broaden your horizon, and some will come from economic perspective, some from the societal perspective. So these need to be incorporated. So that will be incorporated. So I used to brainstorm a lot. Also from PYQs you will get really you can extract the themes. For GS 1, 2, 3 this holds very good. GS 2, 3 especially. If you look at the previous year questions, you would see that questions are being asked from broad themes only. Especially GS 3, if you look at security, economy, some topics, for example inclusive development, labor and employment, these are being frequently asked. So you can extract themes, and based on the themes you can prepare your answers. For example, if the same theme is repeated, what I would be writing, exact same question would not be repeated, but you can some of the points which you have framed for those themes will be incorporated in your exam, and that would be very good. Also overall, if we take GS 1, 2, 3, 4, GS 1, 2, 3, personally I also created one data sheet this time. In this data sheet I used to collect data from newspaper only. I read the newspaper throughout prelims to mains, and during this stage anywhere data which come whichever came in newspaper, which I found helpful. I used to extract and write those data. Also, some data sheet are provided by coaching institute. You can extract data which might be helpful for you, which you think. You can copy it down. Also, you can look at the previous year themes and some data related to those themes. You can write it down and memorize it, which will be very helpful in exam because themes will be repeated. So this data sheet will also be very helpful. Also, overall, if we talk about, I faced some difficulties in my first attempt in completing my paper in time. Although I completed all the papers in time, but I faced some rush in completing those on time, and because of which I was not able to think, as I more focused on writing only. So the content and the quality of that content was not very good. So in this attempt, I used lot of flowcharts, diagrams, incorporated those in my styles. Also try to write my answers in theme format, for example, politically, socially, environmentally, all those things. So this gives direction to your mind, and you can think clearly and fast in your exam. So this was incorporated. I also used to write long points in my first attempt. I also try to shorten these points and try to give hints to explain my whatever I mean by that point, and give examples in support of that. So that was my approach. I do not unnecessarily try to explain each and every aspect, because examiner also understand what you are trying to say, but you just need to give a hint and support your argument with some example or fact. So that also I incorporated. For individual GS1, I personally used to face little bit difficulties in history, because I do not have that background and there is a lot to cover from, and especially in art and culture and medieval, I used to face lot of problems in writing. But this year I noticed that when I was doing PYQs, some themes are getting repeated. For example, influence of Western, Persian influencers, Persian scholars on Indian art and culture. These themes are getting repeated in art and culture. Some stone sculptures, they are repeatedly asking. In modern history, they are also asking societal influence of some movements, the role of some scholars, especially role of some freedom fighters in independence movement. Some themes, broad themes are getting repeated. So I focused more on these themes and collected the content required for these themes. And similarly for geography, ocean currents, atmosphere, broad themes, and even some current affair issues related to environment are being asked. So these can be you can collect those themes and prepare your answers, what and content for those themes which will get repeated, which will be asked again. Then you can write all those points. For society also, I believe that I created comprehensive notes for each and every topic, urbanization, industrialization, all those topics which are being mentioned, impact of all those in society. I created themes for, I collected comprehensive notes for each and every topic. So that helped me with society. For world history, there was crunch of time in both of my attempts, so I had to pay only little focus on world history. But if you see, the question on world history are mostly being asked about between world wars and what happened in and around that period. So I focused more on that part, and also American Revolution, French Revolution, those parts are in focus for asking questions. So I focused on those parts, and I had to neglect a lot of rest part because there was crunch of time and I had to focus on other things also. For GS2, for international relations, I believe current affairs is the source for international relations. Most of the questions which are being asked of international relations are of current affairs. So if you are thorough with your current affairs and you have enough content examples to support any of India's roles in West Asia, for example, you have example Chabar port, etc., etc. So you can you need content and you need to be thorough with current affairs for international relations. For polity, your basics needs to be very clear. you need to memorize all those articles which you will be mentioning in your examples. Also, I try to incorporate more of landmark judgments in my this year attempts. I believe that everybody says this, and you get marks if you write articles, landmark judgments in your polity answers. So that really helps a lot. For GS3, personally, GS3 is more about theme, economy, security, all those things which are, there are themes which are being asked regularly. If you see previous year questions, you will notice those themes which are being asked. So you can prepare on those themes, you can collect data about those themes, you can collect committee recommendations, especially committee recommendation for GS3 very important. You can collect committee recommendations, whatever this committee is suggesting, you can write all those, and you will, if you collect enough data about these, you will definitely be able to write something or other in the examination, because themes will be repeated. So I collected lot of these, and I was able to write those in examination. For GS4, more focus was on collecting example this time. For this, I looked at lot of toppers notes from previous year, and I tried to collect lot of examples from their notebooks and try to incorporate in my own notes. And I collected lot of examples, and just collecting is not the part which you should be doing, but you need to implement this. If you are not able to link the question which is being asked to an example which you have written, so that will be of no use. So you need to link, that linking thing need to be done, and that will only come through practice. When you are writing papers in time crunch, and you are able to link that question being asked and your example you have written in your notes, if you are able to link all those, that will be the thing which will be helpful for you in examination. And this linking thing, I personally believe that only comes through writing. You need to write a lot and lot. You need to attempt lot of mock tests. You need to write on your own. You need to write your own question answers. You can write daily. That linking thing will come with time. It will not come in first go. You will not be able to link. You will not be able to write good answer. But with time, this thing will improve. If you seriously work hard on it, you look at toppers notebook, how they are writing. You focus on refining your content, you focus more on syllabus, you identify those themes, you identify previous year questions, so that that thing will refine your answer writing skills, and over time it will definitely become very good. So that is the thing. For managing time in examination, during all the papers, there is always a time crunch. You need 7.5 minutes for 10 markers and around 10 minutes for 15 markers. So personally, what I followed was that I used to look at, I used to keep watch in front of me in my exam hall. I used to keep at and always look, whenever I attempt one question, I always used to look at the clock and check if I am in the time limit, 7.5 minutes. In 15 minutes I should have done 2 questions, in 30 minutes I should have done 4 questions. So that thing need to be done. I used to do it. In some questions you might not have enough content to write those questions answers, so you might take some time to think about that, but do not take too much time in all those questions. You need to be overall in time frame, because if you are taking too much time in initial stages, at the later stages when you are attempting 15 mark questions, that time crunch will come in front of you and you will be not able to write that good answers. Even if you know much content about those, you will still not be able to write those good answers in those. So you need to take all that in mind, and some around 1 hour 10 minutes you need to complete all the 10 marker questions, then go to 15 markers. So overall you need to take some foundations, fix some foundations for you during attempting a paper, so that you are always on time and you are always able to write whole of the questions. In both my attempts, I focused on writing all the questions. I do not believe that you need to leave any questions. You need to leave that. You need to focus more on content only, and if for whichever questions you know better content, attempt only, focus more on those. And if you do not know content of 2-3 questions, you might leave. I do not believe in that. I personally believe that if you, even if you don't know 2-3 questions, you might be able, you will be able to write some journalistic point about those. So you will know something or other about those questions also, so you will be able to write something, so you will get some marks for those. So something is, I believe, is better than nothing. So so that should be the focus. For my optional was electrical engineering. In technical optionals, it is a PYQs are must. You need to focus on PYQs. Questions are getting repeated. Question will get repeated. Same questions with different digits, different values will get repeated in electrical engineering, maths, mechanical, all these optionals. So you need to attempt each and every PYQ from wherever you find. From 2014 syllabus has changed, so I did PYQs of from 2000 till 2022. I attempted all the previous year questions of electrical engineering. So PYQs are very must, that need to be kept in mind for technical optionals. Also, your basics need to be very clear, because there will be proofs, there will be fundamental things which will be asked in technical optionals. So your basics need to be very clear for technical optionals. For that, you can take you can take follow books. You can read all those, and I read all those books for each and every subject. There is, for each and every topic, there is a particular book. You can read it, you can solve examples through it, and your basics need to be very clear. You can solve examples, you can practice more and more questions, so that will that will really help in getting good marks in optionals, in technical optionals. Also, during the prelims to mains duration, in technical optionals, there is a thing that they are very bulky. You need to spend a lot of time on studying those technical optionals. So there is a problem that how much time you need to divide between prelims and mains, so that you are able to cover prelims, cover GS subject as well as optional. So do not focus on one or another. Although technical optionals are very bulky, but you do not need to focus only on that optional during that period and neglect the GS. That will really won't help. I believe that you need to divide appropriate time equally, because overall marks are summation of GS marks plus optional marks. So you need to divide appropriate time, almost equal time to technical optional as well as GS, so that you are able to manage whole of your time in between prelims to mains and able to sufficiently cover GS, so that you are getting good marks there, and also in optional, so that you are getting good marks there also. So time need to be divided between those, and there should not be a strategy that will focus on one or the another. Especially in technical optionals, do not focus too much on technical optional and neglect totally the GS. You need to give your time to GS too, because that also can help you score good marks. After that, for interview stage, I started reading 2 newspapers, Hindu, the Indian Express. I earlier used to read only the Hindu. For interview, it's more about discussion, your personality, your opinion about current issues which are happening in and around the world. So you need to be thorough with whatever current affairs are happening all around the world, in your country. Everything you need to know basics about. For that, you will need to read newspaper, you will need to follow news, so that will help. Also, you need to build your own opinion about each and everything. So if there is, for example, there was Israel war happening in Israel Gaza Strip, so that you need to build your own opinion. What should be India's stand? What should be the course of action which should be taken by both the parties? So every opinion need to be built on each and every topic, affair which is happening in and around the world as well as in India. In this, I personally found that discussing with your friends can be very good option. I personally did that, and we used to take any current affair topic and used to discuss each and every aspect of it. What are the positive, what are the shortcomings, what is the state of the matter currently, what are the facts related to associated with it, and that really helped. And even some of the questions were repeated from whatever I discussed with my friends in my real interview also. So discussion with your friends, peers, during the interview stage, as well as building your opinion, getting to know each and every current affair, that will really help getting good marks in an interview. Thank you.